Have you ever wondered what happens when devoted parents, who have given their all to their children, find themselves forgotten and unappreciated in their golden years? In today's video, we'll delve into the poignant story of Mr. Bernie, a retired civil servant who, despite having a comfortable retirement fund, chose to withhold financial support from his grown sons. Why? Because his journey reveals crucial lessons about balancing parental love with safeguarding one's well-being. Stay with us until the end to discover why Mr. Bernie's story is a must-have for anyone planning their retirement, and how it can transform your perspective on family dynamics and financial independence. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now, let's get started. Part 1. Cautionary Tale for Retirees, Mr. Bernie's Story. When you retire, especially after the age of 70, the pressures of modern life often test familial bonds. In an era where familial bonds are often tested by the pressures of modern life, the story of Mr. Bernie challenges our understanding of parental love and expectations. Imagine devoting your entire life to raising and supporting your children, only to feel forgotten and unappreciated in your golden years. This is the situation that Mr. Bernie and his wife find themselves in. Once devoted parents who spared no effort or expense to give their sons the best possible start, they now find themselves at a difficult crossroads. Mr. Bernie and his wife had always believed that their unwavering support and sacrifices for their children would be reciprocated with love and care in their old age. They had envisioned a retirement filled with visits from their children and grandchildren, shared holidays, and a strong sense of family unity. However, as they grew older, they realized that their expectations were not being met. Their sons, now busy with their own lives and families, seemed to have little time for them. This tale is a poignant reminder that while parental love knows no bounds, it must sometimes confront the harsh realities of changing family dynamics. The Bernie's experience highlights the emotional and financial challenges that many retirees face. As much as they love their children, they have come to understand the importance of safeguarding their retirement savings and prioritizing their independence. Now, dive into this compelling narrative to discover why Mr. Bernie chooses to secure his future rather than continue to provide unconditional support to his sons. His story sheds light on the difficult decisions that retirees must make to balance their love for their children with the need to ensure their well-being. This narrative offers valuable insights for those navigating similar emotional and financial dilemmas, emphasizing the importance of planning for a secure and fulfilling retirement. However, there are exceptions. Mr. Bernie, from our neighborhood, is a notable example. He and his wife were once civil servants earning good salaries and diligently saving a significant amount of money over the years. Now both are retired, and their combined retirement pensions total over $5,000 per month. Despite this substantial income, they haven't given their children a single penny since retiring, which has left many people puzzled. While other parents are eager to provide financial support to their children, Mr. Bernie and his wife firmly refuse. What could be their reasoning? Let's still dive into Mr. Bernie's story to understand the motivations behind their decision. Mr. Bernie explains, "I'm 72 years old this year and have been retired for 12 years. My wife, who is 5 years younger than me, has also been retired for over a decade. We both worked in state-owned enterprises, so our combined monthly pensions exceed $55,000. With such a comfortable retirement income, we live well, enjoying whatever we want and traveling as we please. We don't hold back on ourselves after working hard for half our lives. Retirement is a time to enjoy life to the fullest. Despite our comfortable financial situation, we've never spent a penny on our children. Some might wonder, with such high pensions, wouldn't we have some money left over each month to support our children? After all, young people face many challenges, and it's common for parents to lend a helping hand. However, my wife and I prefer to keep the money for ourselves, even if it means the funds may depreciate over time. We believe in living life on our terms, enjoying the fruits of our labor without feeling obligated to support our adult children financially. He continues, "Our actions may seem harsh, but they are far from heartless. We've closely observed the behavior of our two sons, and it has left us deeply unsettled. Both my wife and I have experienced the struggles of life firsthand, and we understand the profound impact that poverty can have on a person's well-being. When our circumstances improved after our involvement in public service, we became exceptionally devoted and loving parents. We spared no effort to provide our sons with what they needed, though we were careful not to indulge in unnecessary expenditures. Our approach was guided by a philosophy of moderation, in fact, which I believe is why both of our sons have consistently performed admirably since their childhood. They achieved outstanding academic success, were accepted into prestigious universities, graduated, secured jobs in major cities, married, and started families of their own. Their lives have been marked by smooth progress and stability. Many people have praised us for our parenting, noting how well we raised our children. Our sons have become successful white-collar professionals in bustling urban centers, carving out impressive careers for themselves. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time." Mr. Burney adds, "Despite their accomplishments, my wife and I invested significant effort into supporting them as they built their families and careers. For our eldest son, upon his graduation from college, we leveraged our connections to secure him a position at a reputable state-owned company. When he married, we contributed $100,000 for the down payment on his new home. Additionally, we provided $5,000 towards his car purchase. Our younger son, on the other hand, pursued a less popular major in college, which made it challenging for him to find a job after graduation. To help him, we invested in furthering his education, which eventually led him to secure a stable job by the time he was nearly 30. When he married, he chose a bride from another province, and we spent over $50,000 on his dowry. Moreover, we purchased homes for both sons, depleting all the savings we had accumulated over a lifetime. Our sacrifices were made with the hope of ensuring their success and happiness, despite the challenges we faced along the way." Mr. Burney reflects on his family's sacrifices with a deep sense of disappointment. He recounts, "After both of our sons had children of their own, my wife and I decided to retire early to help care for our growing family. My wife chose to retire at the age of 50 to devote her time to our eldest grandson, while I stepped away from work at 60 to take on the responsibility of caring for our youngest granddaughter. For many years, our lives revolved around these two precious grandchildren, and it wasn't until they were old enough to start school that we finally had a chance to rest and catch our breath. We poured our hearts and souls into raising and caring for our sons and their families, believing that our selfless dedication would eventually be reciprocated. We imagined that, in time, our sons would show gratitude by taking care of us in our old age. Unfortunately, our hopes were met with disappointment. Rather than experiencing the filial piety we had envisioned, we found ourselves faced with a sense of being used. In general, when elderly parents are in the picture, It's expected that their children will frequently visit and ensure their well-being. However, our sons have not adhered to these norms. They rarely come home during important festivals and seldom make an effort to stay in touch. Our eldest son, who lives a mere 300 kilometers away, a drive of about 4 hours, manages to visit us only once a year, typically during Chinese New Year. Each visit is marked by a lack of thoughtful gestures. He arrives empty-handed and departs with gifts that seem more like a formality rather than a heartfelt gesture. I recall a particular year when our neighbors' children brought their parents a bounty of goods and gifts during the holiday season. In stark contrast, our eldest son's approach was strikingly frugal. His minimal effort and stinginess during such a time of generosity from others left us feeling deeply hurt and undervalued. He drove his SUV home, but he brought with him only 2 pieces of clothing for my wife and me, with no New Year gifts. It was a stark contrast to the tradition that many families follow, where children would typically present their parents with red envelopes on New Year's Eve. Our eldest son, however, never adhered to this custom. Instead, it was our grandchildren who, despite their youth, showed thoughtfulness and respect by giving us their red envelopes. As the New Year celebrations wound down, our eldest son would leave, having cleared out the New Year goods we had so carefully prepared for the family. This annual ritual, which we had always hoped would be a time of togetherness and mutual appreciation, had become a source of disappointment. That year, feeling particularly let down by the behavior of our son and daughter-in-law, I finally voiced my feelings of discontent. My son's response was both dismissive and hurtful. He remarked, "Anyway, you're both so old now you can't eat so much. It's a waste to leave things at home." His words felt like a cold rebuke, lacking the warmth and understanding one would expect in a family. Mr. Burney continues his story, saying, "Our younger son's behavior was even more troubling. When we generously bought him a house, he came back with another request, this time for money to buy a car. The way he asked was both audacious and demanding. He didn't make a polite request. Instead, he issued an ultimatum with a tone that was almost aggressive. He said, 'Dad, I want to buy a car, so transfer $70,000 to me right away.' His manner of asking felt more like a demand from a stranger than a request from a son. It was as if he had forgotten the basic principles of respect and gratitude. His demanding attitude was deeply unsettling, making me feel as though he was inverting the roles of our relationship. Instead of a father providing for a son, it felt as though he was treating me like an inferior, expected to comply without question. Even though we could easily afford to give him $70,000, how he approached us made it impossible for me to agree. He already owned a car, and the idea of purchasing another one seemed to me like a frivolous extravagance. The whole experience left me feeling disrespected and uncomfortable, as if the essence of familial respect and mutual consideration had been completely disregarded. Mr. Burney explains, "At one point when my son couldn't secure the amount of money he wanted for the car, he shifted his requests to other needs. He began saying that he needed the money to renovate the house or to start a new business venture, asking for tens of thousands each time. Despite these constant pleas, I could see through his intentions and chose to give him only a small amount each time. Unexpectedly, my refusal to give him the full amount led to a noticeable shift in his behavior toward us. He began to treat us with increasing coldness and indifference. Whenever he visited, he would be distant, only staying long enough to eat and then leaving without any warmth or engagement. Even when we made an effort to ask him to stay longer or to spend more time with us, he would dismiss our requests, claiming that it was uncomfortable for him to remain at home." Mr. Burney continues, "Over time, the actions and attitudes of our 2 sons have profoundly affected our feelings toward them. Their behavior has gradually made us more distant, and less inclined to engage with them. 4 years ago, my wife was hospitalized due to severe osteoarthritis, requiring surgery and extensive treatment. Although we covered all the medical expenses out of our pocket, my wife had hoped that our sons would visit her and provide some emotional support during this difficult time. However, both sons seemed to avoid coming to see her, treating the situation as if it were an inconvenient obligation or a burden that they preferred to avoid. They didn't visit, showing no genuine concern for their mother's well-being. In the end, both sons only made brief phone calls, which felt like an inadequate gesture in comparison to the gravity of the situation. What was originally intended to be a routine operation ended up causing my wife's significant emotional distress. While she was in the hospital, she observed that other patients were surrounded by their families, receiving care and comfort from their loved ones. In stark contrast, we were left to rely solely on each other, which was an incredibly lonely and pitiful experience. The absence of our sons during this challenging time highlighted the emotional distance that had grown between us, leaving us to grapple with not only the physical strain of my wife's illness, but also the deep emotional pain of being neglected by our children. Mr. Burney continues, "Later on, as my wife was still grappling with her recovery, I unfortunately had a fall that resulted in a fractured foot. At that particular time, my wife's back issues were so severe that she was incapable of offering any physical assistance to me. Given our situation, I hoped that our 2 sons would step in to provide the support and care we desperately needed. I reached out to them, explaining the seriousness of my injury and the urgency of our situation. However, their responses were disheartening. One son told me that he was swamped with work commitments and couldn't find the time to help, while the other claimed he was unwell and simply couldn't manage the trip. Despite my repeated attempts to make them understand how dire our circumstances were, both of them continued to insist they could not come. With no other options, I had to allocate a significant portion of our savings to hire a professional caregiver to assist me during my recovery. As I was recuperating, I found out through my grandchildren that my eldest son had taken his family on a vacation to the seaside, enjoying a leisurely getaway, while my younger son had gone on a hiking trip. The realization that they were able to take time off to enjoy themselves while we were struggling was deeply distressing. It was a blow that seemed to hurt even more than the physical pain I was enduring. The emotional anguish of feeling abandoned by my children was overwhelming, and it made me question the value of our sacrifices and the nature of our relationship with them. Reflecting on these experiences, Mr. Burney contemplates, "People frequently ask whether we should continue to allocate our savings to support our sons. The events we've gone through have led my wife and me to reassess our relationship with them. We have realized that relying on our sons for support and pinning our retirement hopes on them might not be wise. Given that we are still in a position to take care of ourselves, the way they responded to our needs during this critical time has been a wake-up call. We fear that if we were to find ourselves in a position where we could no longer care for ourselves, the situation might be even more dire. Therefore, we have resolved to keep our financial resources under our control and not give them any more money, even in the face of emergencies. We are determined to retain sufficient funds for our retirement and future care." If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. If in the future we are unable to manage our own needs, we will not rely on our sons for support, but will instead opt for a nursing home. Although a nursing home may lack the personal touch and familial warmth that we might desire, we believe that paying for professional care will offer us a level of comfort and security that might be more reliable than depending on our children. We want to ensure that our later years are spent in a manner that preserves our dignity and provides us with the care and support we need, regardless of the challenges we have faced with our sons. Mr. Burney's situation, though it may seem unusual, reflects a troubling reality that is becoming increasingly common in modern society. This reality underscores how fragile human connections can be, and how the nature of familial affection has evolved, or in many cases diminished, over time. As societal values shift, the deep-rooted sense of duty and commitment that was once prevalent is now less common, particularly among younger generations, who are often more focused on personal freedom and self-gratification. In today's fast-paced world, it is not uncommon to see young people who are more inclined to pursue their pleasures and ambitions rather than committing fully to the traditional responsibilities of caring for their aging parents. The concept of filial piety, which once was a cornerstone of familial relationships, now seems to be overshadowed by a growing trend toward individualism. This shift makes it increasingly rare to find individuals who exhibit the same level of dedication and sacrifice for their parents as previous generations did. Given these changing dynamics, it is crucial for individuals approaching retirement to adopt a prudent approach to managing their finances. The importance of maintaining a robust retirement savings plan cannot be overstated. While it is certainly commendable to offer support and assistance to children who are in need, it is equally important to ensure that one's financial security is not compromised in the process. Striking a balance is key, providing meaningful help and emotional support while preserving enough resources to secure one's comfort and well-being. By being judicious with our financial resources, we can avoid the fate experienced by Mr. Burney, where years of unwavering support and self-sacrifice ultimately lead to neglect and loneliness in retirement. It is a sobering reminder that despite our best intentions and efforts, the support of children cannot always be relied upon. The famous Chinese proverb, "In the world there are no ungrateful parents, only ungrateful children," encapsulates this sentiment perfectly. It serves as a reminder of the harsh reality that, even with the best intentions, we may not always receive the gratitude or support we expect from our children. Therefore, it is essential to prepare for old age with a focus on self-preservation and financial independence. This approach allows us to maintain a sense of security and autonomy, ensuring that we can navigate the challenges of aging with dignity and peace of mind. By safeguarding our savings and planning effectively for our future, we can better withstand the uncertainties that may arise and avoid the potential pitfalls of being left to face our retirement years in solitude. Part 2. The perils of living with your children in old age. When contemplating the later stages of life, one pressing question often arises: should parents live with their children, or should they seek to fulfill their dreams and aspirations? The decision to cohabitate with one's children in old age can carry unforeseen consequences, potentially transforming a hoped-for sanctuary into a battleground of unmet expectations and strained relationships. Consider the story of Aura, a remarkable 62-year-old mother who chose to defy societal norms and embark on a path less traveled. After enduring the profound loss of her husband and spending a decade in solitude, Aura made the bold decision to move in with her son and daughter-in-law. She hoped to find companionship and support during her retirement years, imagining a life filled with familial closeness and shared moments. However, the reality of living with her son and daughter-in-law quickly diverged from her expectations. What she had anticipated as a harmonious arrangement soon became a grueling routine of unpaid labor and unrecognized sacrifices. The closeness she sought turned into a relentless cycle of responsibilities that left her feeling overwhelmed and exploited. Her role within the household, which she had envisioned as supportive and nurturing, became an endless series of demands that drained her emotional and physical energy. Aura found herself grappling with the harsh truth that her presence was not as cherished as she had hoped. The sacrifices she made and the support she offered were not reciprocated with the respect and appreciation she deserved. This realization, though painful, was a pivotal moment in her life. In a bold and courageous move that stunned her family and inspired many, Aura chose to reclaim her independence. She took a step that many might find daunting. She decided to leave the familiar confines of her son's home and embark on a journey of self-discovery and personal fulfillment. Her decision was not just about physical relocation, but about redefining her life on her terms, free from the constraints of unfulfilled expectations and unpaid labor. Aura's story is one of resilience and self-empowerment. It illustrates the profound impact of choosing to prioritize one's well-being and happiness, even in the face of societal pressures and familial obligations. Her journey served as a powerful reminder that in the twilight years of life, the pursuit of personal dreams and the quest for true fulfillment can lead to profound transformation and newfound joy. Today, I want to delve into a question that many families grapple with. Should parents move in with their children as they age? Let's explore this topic through the story of Aura, a 62-year-old mother of two, a son and a daughter. Aura's daughter is married and has her own family. Following her retirement, Aura decided to relocate from her longtime home to live with her son and his wife. However, just a year after making this move, Aura decided to leave her son's household and return to her hometown, opting not to continue living with them. To better understand Aura's choice, it's important to look at her journey. Her life took a significant turn a decade ago when her husband passed away. Since that time, Aura had been living on her own, managing her daily life with a sense of independence. As she approached her 60th birthday and prepared for retirement, her son expressed concern about her well-being and the potential loneliness she might face. Out of love and concern, he extended an invitation for her to move in with him and his family, hoping to provide her with companionship and support during her retirement years. Aura viewed this gesture as a heartfelt expression of filial duty and affection. With this understanding, she agreed to the move and settled into her son's home. In the beginning, the transition seemed promising. Her daughter-in-law welcomed her warmly, and they managed to get along well. Her daughter-in-law made a conscious effort to ensure Aura felt comfortable, frequently encouraging her to enjoy life outside the home. She suggested that Aura engage in activities such as dancing, taking walks, or socializing with friends, thereby trying to ensure that Aura did not feel overwhelmed by domestic responsibilities. Despite these efforts, Aura's initial optimism gradually waned. Over time, the dynamics of living together began to change, and Aura found herself feeling increasingly disconnected from her son's family. This sense of detachment grew until it culminated in her decision to return to her hometown, choosing to live independently rather than continue in a living arrangement that no longer suited her needs or preferences. After a while, the dynamics in my life began to shift dramatically. Initially, my daughter-in-law's requests were modest, simple tasks like helping with cleaning. However, these requests quickly grew in scope. What started as minor assistance gradually escalated into a comprehensive set of responsibilities: cooking, managing all household chores, and taking care of the children. I had envisioned my retirement as a time of leisure and self-enjoyment, a time to relish the freedom I had earned. I imagined spending my days dancing in the town square, raising a small affectionate dog, cultivating a garden with fresh vegetables, and savoring the quiet, peaceful rhythms of life in my hometown. I looked forward to reconnecting with old friends over leisurely cups of tea, sharing stories and laughter. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Instead, my retirement turned into a series of endless, unpaid tasks. I felt as though my dream of enjoying a well-deserved rest was slipping away. My son and daughter-in-law's expectations seemed to override my plans. They appeared to take for granted that I would be available to manage their household responsibilities, leaving me with little time or energy for myself. One Saturday night, while I was deeply engrossed in cleaning, my son and daughter-in-law nonchalantly mentioned that they were planning a 4-day vacation. Their conversation was casual, almost as if my role in their plans was merely an afterthought. They assumed I would take care of the children during their absence without any consideration for my feelings or desires. Their departure felt like a heavy blow, a stark reminder of how my aspirations had been overshadowed by their demands. I was left alone, grappling with the overwhelming responsibility of managing everything at home while they enjoyed their time away. It was deeply frustrating to watch their lives proceed with ease and comfort while I was burdened with relentless chores and responsibilities. Each time I thought about visiting friends or taking a moment for myself, there was always an endless list of tasks waiting for me. The imbalance between their carefree enjoyment and my exhausting labor felt profoundly unfair and disheartening. I spent several days deeply contemplating my situation, wrestling with the realization that I needed to live for myself. After much reflection, I made the difficult decision to take control of my own life. I informed my son that I was planning to visit an old friend for a few days, and that he and his family would need to manage on their own during that time. Although my daughter-in-law was visibly upset and accused me of neglecting my responsibilities, I stood firm in my resolution. I understood that my decision might be met with resistance, but I knew I couldn't let their disapproval deter me. Returning to my hometown marked a significant turning point. It was here that I began to embrace the retirement life I had always envisioned for myself. Each day became an opportunity to engage in activities that brought me joy and satisfaction. For the first time in a long while, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. I came to a crucial realization. I could no longer afford to keep sacrificing my well-being for the sake of others. Having devoted half my life to caring for my son, it was time for him to take charge of his own life and responsibilities, instead of depending on me. Aura's story serves as a poignant testament to the enduring strength and resilience of the human spirit. Her decision to leave her son's home and reclaim her independence was far more than a mere act of defiance. It was a courageous assertion of her right to live life on her terms. This bold move not only challenged but shattered the conventional expectations placed upon aging parents. It confronted the traditional belief that their primary role is to endlessly serve their children, illustrating instead the powerful truth that they too have the right to live their lives fully and authentically. As Aura packed her bags and made her way back to her hometown, she was not simply leaving behind a life of unpaid labor and unfulfilled expectations. She was embarking on a new journey, one brimming with opportunities for self-discovery and fulfillment. This moment marked the beginning of a transformative chapter, a fresh start where the boundaries of her life were redrawn to reflect her deepest desires and aspirations. Aura's story strikes a profound chord, particularly with older adults who often grapple with the delicate balance between familial responsibilities and personal dreams. Her experience highlights a crucial lesson. Setting boundaries and prioritizing one's well-being are essential, even amidst societal and familial pressures. Her decision to leave her son's home and reclaim her independence stands as a powerful testament to the importance of self-respect and personal happiness. Returning to a life of solitude, Aura embraced the freedom she had long yearned for. She found joy in the simplicity of her days, dancing in the town square, caring for a small dog and nurturing a flourishing vegetable garden. These were not mere activities, but reflections of dreams she had once cherished. Reconnecting with old friends brought a new layer of richness to her life. Shared laughter over cups of tea and heartfelt conversations were reminders of the joy that had always been within her reach, waiting to be rediscovered. Aura's journey is a poignant reminder that it is never too late to seek happiness and fulfillment. Her story encourages us to reflect on the quality of our own lives and the choices we make. It serves as a clarion call for older adults to assert their right to live independently and joyfully, rejecting the notion that they must sacrifice their happiness for the sake of others. In a world where aging often comes with diminishing expectations and increasing demands, Aura's narrative shines as a beacon of hope and inspiration. It underscores that self-respect and personal joy are not just aspirations, but fundamental rights that everyone, regardless of age, deserves to experience. Aura's tale is more than just a personal victory. It is a universal message that reminds us all that a life filled with purpose, dignity, and joy is achievable at any stage of life. Her example calls us to cherish our autonomy, pursue our dreams with vigor, and live out our days with the vibrancy and fulfillment we deserve. What have you learned from Aura's inspiring story? Share your thoughts and let us know one thing you've learned and will bring into practice in your own life. We would love to hear how Aura's journey has influenced you and what changes you plan to make as a result. If you found this video insightful and inspiring, please leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content that encourages and empowers you to live your best life. Your support means the world to us. Thank you for watching.